May 28, 1998. A mountain in the Chagai district of Balochistan turned white in an instant, bleached by the shockwave of Pakistan's first successful nuclear test. India had tested 2 weeks earlier. Pakistan answered. The world had a new nuclear power. And in Washington, in New Delhi, in Tel Aviv, intelligence agencies that had spent decades trying to prevent exactly this moment asked the same question. How did we miss it? The answer begins in 1971. December 1971, India intervened in Pakistan's civil war, supported East Pakistan's independence movement, and in 13 days of open warfare, dismantled the country. 93,000 Pakistani soldiers surrendered, the largest mass surrender since World War II. East Pakistan became Bangladesh. For Pakistan, it was the greatest national humiliation in its history. A country born from partition in 1947, barely 24 years old, had been cut in half by its neighbor, with what Pakistan's leadership believed was an Indian nuclear deterrent, making any escalation impossible. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto drew the only conclusion available to him. Pakistan needed a weapon that India could not ignore. On January 20th, 1972, Bhutto gathered Pakistan's scientific leadership in Multan and gave them a mission. He was told the obstacles were enormous, financial, technical, political. His response became one of the most quoted lines in Pakistani political history. We will have it, even if we have to eat grass. Pakistan committed itself to a nuclear weapons program from a position of near total weakness. No enrichment facility, no weapons-grade material, almost no money, and two of the world's most capable intelligence agencies, CIA and India's RAW, watching every move. What happened next was one of the most audacious intelligence and procurement operations of the 20th century. Abdul Qadir Khan was born in Bhopal, India, in 1936, a Muslim who migrated to Pakistan after partition. He earned his doctorate in metallurgy in Europe, and in 1972 took a position at a subcontractor to Urenco, the European Uranium Enrichment Consortium in the Netherlands. He had access to the most sensitive centrifuge enrichment technology in the Western world, and when he heard about Bhutto's nuclear ambitions, he decided to act. Over the following 2 years, Khan systematically copied classified centrifuge designs, memorized supplier networks, and photographed technical documents. He was not directed by Pakistani intelligence. He was a one-man intelligence operation, motivated by the memory of 1971 and the conviction that Pakistan had a right to the same weapons its enemies held. In December 1974, the same year India tested its first nuclear device, code-named Smiling Buddha, Khan wrote directly to Prime Minister Bhutto. The letter was an offer. He had the technical knowledge to build Pakistan a uranium enrichment capability from scratch, using European centrifuge designs he had spent 2 years studying and copying. Bhutto accepted immediately. Khan returned to Pakistan in 1976 and was placed in charge of a new facility at Kahuta, outside Rawalpindi. He brought with him something no amount of money could buy through legitimate channels: the complete technical specifications for the centrifuge network that would enrich Pakistan's uranium to weapons grade. The CIA later called it the most significant act of nuclear espionage. Khan did not just bring blueprints. He brought supplier contacts, names and addresses of every European company that manufactured specialist components for centrifuge enrichment. Over the following decade, Pakistan's procurement agents fanned out across Europe, placing orders through shell companies and intermediaries, falsifying end-user certificates, and shipping components through third countries. The CIA tracked fragments of this network and raised alarms repeatedly. Congressional testimony later revealed that the Carter and Reagan administrations, needing Pakistani cooperation against the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, repeatedly turned a blind eye to the intelligence reports. The Cold War created a strategic reason to let Pakistan build its bomb. The CIA saw it happening. Washington chose not to stop. The CIA was not blind. Internal assessments from the late 1970s onward accurately described Pakistan's nuclear weapons ambitions and the progress of the Kahuta facility. The intelligence was real. The political will to act on it was not. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 made Pakistan the most important strategic partner the United States had in the region, the channel through which billions of dollars of weapons and supports flowed to the Afghan Mujahideen. Sanctioning Pakistan meant losing that partnership. Presidents Carter, Reagan, and Bush all signed annual certifications that Pakistan did not possess nuclear weapons, a statement that CIA analysts privately considered false. In order to keep the aid flowing, the CIA watched Pakistan build the bomb. Washington signed the paperwork saying it wasn't happening. India's intelligence agency RAW tracked the Kahuta facility with significant accuracy throughout its construction. By the early 1980s, Indian intelligence assessed that Pakistan was approaching weapons capability and seriously considered a preemptive military strike, modeled on Israel's 1981 Osirak operation. The strike was planned and reportedly came close to execution in 1984. It was called off under pressure from the United States, and because Indian military planners concluded that Pakistani retaliation against Indian nuclear sites would likely follow. The decision not to strike Kahuta is one of the most consequential military non-decisions of the 20th century. Pakistan continued building, and India, within a decade, would test its own weapon, triggering the chain of events that led directly to Chagai. Bhutto started the program. Zia-ul-Haq finished it. The general who overthrew and executed Bhutto in 1977 recognized the nuclear program as Pakistan's most strategic asset and protected it fiercely, using Pakistan's role in the Afghan conflict as a shield against American pressure. By approximately 1984, Pakistani scientists had enriched uranium to weapons grade for the first time, a threshold that, once crossed, cannot be uncrossed. Pakistan had the bomb in principle, though it had not yet tested it. For the next 14 years, it maintained what is sometimes called nuclear ambiguity, neither confirming nor denying its capability, watching India across the border, waiting. On May 11, 1998, India detonated 5 nuclear devices at the Pokhran test range, announcing itself as a full nuclear weapons state. The pressure on
Today, India conducted 3 underground nuclear tests.
Pakistan was immediate and enormous. President Clinton telephoned Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and reportedly offered significant economic incentives, debt relief, aid packages if Pakistan chose restraint. The military and scientific establishment in Pakistan pushed strongly for a response. Public opinion was overwhelming. India had just demonstrated its nuclear capability on Pakistan's doorstep. Not responding was politically inconceivable. Sharif gave the order. The scientists prepared the Chagai site. 17 days after India tested, Pakistan answered. May 28, 1998, Pakistan detonated 5 nuclear devices simultaneously inside the Ko-Kambarin mountain in Chagai district, the largest single nuclear test event since China's 1964 test. 2 days later, on May 30th, a 6th device was tested at a second site.
The results were as expected. There was no release of radioactivity. The entire nation takes justifiable pride in the accomplishments of the Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission, Dr. Kahuta Research Laboratories, and all affiliated organizations.
Prime Minister Sharif's announcement, a single religious declaration, triggered the largest public celebrations Pakistan had seen since independence. Q. Khan, the metallurgist who had copied centrifuge blueprints in Amsterdam 26 years earlier, was presented to the nation as its greatest hero. The country that had eaten metaphorical grass to build its bomb had arrived, but the consequences of how it was built were about to catch up.